Week 11 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with the Patriots hosting the Jets. Pats are seeking an NFL-leading 8th straight win. In his first season as head coach, Mike Vrabel has his team in position to earn the 1 seed in the AFC. Meanwhile, Drake Maye has been in complete control on the field and is currently the favorite to win MVP. So, Wimina, who do you think deserves more credit for the way the Patriots have been playing so far this season? Do you think it's Mike Vrabel or do you think it's Drake Maye, their quarterback?
For me, it's Drake Maye. Mike Vrabel deserves a ton of credit. He's obviously going to be a favorite for Coach of the Year with the turnaround. The record speaks for itself. But when I watch the Patriots every week, they're not winning games because of their defense. They're certainly not winning games because of their run game. The offense is vastly improved, but I do not see an offense that's heavily schemed up to help the quarterback that's carrying the quarterback. I see a quarterback that's carrying the offense, that's carrying the football team. It's the reason why he's the MVP favorite. Yes, the offensive line is no longer a disaster, and some of the skill players are playing well, but this is not Drake Maye throwing downfield to wide open receivers, to the best receivers in the league, sitting in a clean pocket. Week after week, he is making some of the most honestly impressive plays of any quarterback in football. One stat that comes to mind, he has the highest tight window completion percentage in the league, 58%. To put that in context, Jared Goff, who's very good, is at 40% by that same metric. He leads the league in completion over expected. He leads the league in QBR. And again, he is the engine of the offense. There are times where he just makes unbelievable plays under pressure with his legs, throwing downfield. I completely agree with Dan when he's been saying he's an MVP favorite. And for me, he does deserve the lion's share of the credit for what we're seeing with this Patriots team.
You agree with Mina? You give the credit to Drake Maye? Or do you
No, I don't, but it's good that New England's in a place where we're asking who gets more credit, head coach or quarterback. That's never happened before, right?
Feels like old times.
Yeah, right? I would disagree with you a little bit, MK, about the scheme stuff. I think that offensive scheme has been great. I'm going to say Vrabel, and one, he brought Josh McDaniels. I think Josh McDaniels has been absolutely off the charts this year. And the connection that he has with Drake Maye is one of the reasons why Drake's playing so good. I would say number two, this team last year was 4-13. The year before, they were 4-13. The year before, they were 8-9. This has been a bad football team for years. Nobody thought they would be 8-2. I don't know a single human that thought this team would be 8-2 and legitimately vying for not only a division title, but like, wow, this team could make an AFC championship run. That doesn't happen just because of quarterback play, because we've seen quarterback play be on bad teams. I think the second thing is this has become a very good defense. I can make the case it's the best third down defense in football. That's not necessarily the quarterback. I think 3rd and 3, this team.
Come on.
The NFL is like 18 for 59 against this defense on 3rd and 3. The last thing I would say is this. Week 1, they beat the Raiders because of situational football. Week 2, they beat the Dolphins because of very good situational football. Absolutely.
They lost to the Raiders. Sorry.
Excuse me, yes. Week 2, they beat the Dolphins, situational football. Week 5, they beat the Bills in Buffalo, situational football. Week 10, beat Atlanta, situational football. Last week, win, situational football. They've been situational football. The way he goes about the end of that first half and the handling of that time, that's Vrabel.
Well, I'm going to say this. It's Drake Maye, and here's why. Coming into the season, the question was, can Drake Maye do enough with what we feel is going to be a great rushing attack for this offense to compete? We were sitting on Get Up, and I said, hey, the one thing that we are not talking about enough is the possibility of Drake Maye's ascension.
Right.
And the pushback to me was not this year because he doesn't have enough around him.
That was me.
Right? So I wasn't going to do you that, though, because you're my dog.
Yeah.
But so when that's the pushback and then the team does this, and Drake Maye is in the MVP conversation, leading the MVP conversation, you can't go, man, it's everybody else. It ain't Drake Maye, because we were saying that Drake Maye would be held back because he didn't have enough around him.
Yeah.
Now, Josh McDaniels has been amazing. Yeah. Mike Vrabel has to set a culture that allows situational football to work in complementary football, right? Because that's what we've seen from this team. And we talked about it. Complementary football isn't just, hey, all phases play well. It's phases feed into one another.
Sure.
But that starts with Drake Maye. right? We talk about the situational football that we saw against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the last I checked, Mike Vrabel wasn't out there reading that simulated pressure, finding Pop Douglas on the seam. The last I checked, he wasn't throwing that football on 4th down where only Stephon Diggs could get it, where Stephon Diggs can actually get it. Right? It wasn't Mike Vrabel out there when the pressure was coming off of the right. Kyle Williams was on the deep crosser, throwing, fading away, getting hit. Hitting it right here with an old Nikola Jokic and hitting him in stride for him to score a touchdown.
55 last night.
Yeah, Drake. Yeah, he's amazing. Drake Maye this year is everything. He's everything, in my opinion, and this is not a knock on this player because I love him, everything Jaden Daniels was last year and what we thought he'd ascend to be this year. And so for me, it's Drake Maye.
All right, let's
took about 3 minutes. Here's the problem.
Are you serious?
That wasn't, yes, I am. That wasn't the answer he gave on the rundown. On the rundown, Ryan Clark said rape. But now he changed it up.
Maybe someone smart changed his mind and went first.
He changed it up. So the brother gonna call me out on national television, but he left out himself. I mean, then like 20 minutes later, you understand? He did
How
the
long
damn
have
thing.
you been sitting on this, Stephen A? Stephen A, how long were you sitting on that? How long were you sitting on that?
20 minutes. 20 minutes. I mean, that's all it took for him to be his hypocritical self. Okay, please, you changed your answer because that is not the answer you gave. But it's all right. It's okay, though. Let me say this, y'all. The answer to this question is Vrabel. And I'm going to tell you why it's Vrabel. With all of the superlatives you threw out about Drake Maye and his play this year, he don't play defense, all right? That defense does. We talked about, you brought up, I think, Dan, how efficient they were. Fifth best on third downs defensively as well. Special teams. Culture. When you got back-to-back 4-13 seasons, what it was before that, I mean, Bill Belichick and then Gerard Mayo, I mean, for Vrabel to come in and for this instant change to kick in, I think that's why you have to go with that answer. That's not taking anything away from Drake Maye, who's an MVP candidate, who looks absolutely great. Very impressive. And to be the dude that's there now with them talking about you the way they're talking about you in a place that Tom Brady delivered 6 championships to, that just says an awful lot about him. But we also know that no matter how good you can be as a quarterback, if the culture ain't right, if the defense ain't right, if things are not correct, everything can plummet. And that is not what happened with Mike Vrabel. He's got to get the credit right now, and I personally think he's going to win Coach of the Year.
Shae, I'm sorry.
Okay, I just want to point this out too. Mike Vrabel has single-handedly, it feels like, because I can only pick one or the other, turned around this roster in 1 year's time. You guys have talked about the additions. We've talked about, obviously, Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins, who you brought up, Will Campbell, Jared Wilson, Garrett Bradbury. I mean, this roster construction alone is so different from a year ago. Exactly. Yeah. And we can't give Drake Maye credit for that.
Shae, you know what? So this thing is about team, right? I know First Take for so long has only been about Stephen A, right? And so sometimes
that's not true.
And so sometimes he doesn't understand
some
team.
People who think
right?
that way.
What happens in the second hour?
I don't understand team.
What happened in the second hour on NFL Live is this. 3 people that work together a lot. I believe we're part of a show that won an Emmy last year.
This is valid. This
right?
is his rebuttal.
They become a team. And so when you look at the sheet, and the sheet says Vrabel, Maye, right? And you think to yourself, well, this is about team. And in team, we need to have arguments, especially on a debate show, where they can be one argument against another. We don't want to go Vrabel. So when Mina starts, even when she starts talking, I write on Dan's paper, I know you can't see this, I write on Dan's paper, I'm going to talk about Maye.
I'm confirming
right?
that.
And then I point to Shae, who's our illustrious, wonderful new host, and I look at Shae and I go, I'm going to go Maye, and she points at me and says, do you want to go next? I said, no, go to one of those two. And the reason I did that, Shae, so Mina can have her Maye argument, one of you can have a Vrabel argument, and then we can go back to Maye while one of you illustrious, amazing analysts, right, finishes with
Maybe
Vrabel.
Executive producer, Steve.
It's called making a show, Stephen A., not just taking Dan's answer.
Well, maybe if you didn't overstep your bounds and try to be the executive producer during the show, You understand? That wouldn't have happened. All you had to do was defer to a brother, but you didn't do that. What you did was call me out 20 minutes earlier and then tried to sit up there and do exactly what you accused me of without getting called out on it. So I saw the opportunity to capitalize on your hypocrisy, and I was not going to pass that up because I'm not on NFL Live. I'm on First Take. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not working at 4 o'clock in the afternoon with y'all. I'm working in the morning. And I had an opportunity to get you, and I took it.
Well, you know what? Sometimes, Stephen A., they want the offensive coordinator on the sideline and not in the booth.
Stephen A., you could come on NFL Live. We could talk simulated pressures.
Okay.
You know what? I haven't had an invite. I'm kind of thinking that Mina's banned me. That must be the reason. I mean, I can't believe I haven't had an invite. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking.
You are welcome
I'm
to come on.
that.
No, I am not the
It's all
one.
right.
At 4 o'clock, you're probably doing one of your 17 other jobs.
Yeah, we could talk simulated
Actually, I'm
pressure.
off. I'm off, and I'm just finishing up watching General Hospital, actually. But go ahead.
All right, 2 of the NFC West best teams, 2 powerhouses, are going to clash this Sunday when the Rams host the Seahawks to battle it out for first place in the division. Both teams head into this week riding a 4-game win streak. They're currently tied with an NFC best 7-2 record. So we've talked a lot about now what is at stake for Sam Darnold. Is this going to change our opinion of him if he does beat the Rams, convincingly or not, on Sunday? What do we think? Mina, go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, I want to see him have a great performance against a great defense. The best defense he's played thus far, the Houston Texans, he had his worst game of the season in terms of turnovers and whatnot. And people don't talk about this with the Rams because we're so focused on the offense. But this has become a top 10 defense. Chris Shula, their defensive coordinator, is a guy who should be talked about as a potential head coach. And it was going to present, I think, a serious challenge for Darnold. It is a smart defense. They are going to come at them with a very challenging game plan. He's not going to see some of the easy coverages and base defense that he has shredded thus far. So for me, it's just about him proving, hey, I can play a really good defense, play a really solid game, go toe-to-toe with Matthew Stafford.
So he doesn't have to win necessarily, you're saying. He just has to go toe-to-toe with the Rams.
Well, I mean, they certainly need to win for the division. I'm just talking about Sam Darnold personally, what I want to see from him.
He got an opportunity to make Stephen A. stop talking about them last 2 damn games in Minnesota, bro.
Yeah.
Like honestly, that's what this about for me. This is so when every time we say something great about Sam Darnold, Stephen A. can't be like, but wait.
You remember when they poured water
on him and everybody was jumping around?
He's still going to do it. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like at some
Regular
point,
season.
This is the only reason I want Sam to play well, so we can just change Stephen A.'s argument.
But they were the #1 team on his A-list this week.
You know, can we do that, Stephen A? If he wins this week, can we stop talking about the last 2 games from last year?
Nope. And let me tell you why. Because I'm going to tell you why, Mina. Because when did he lose? They were 14-2. He lost the season finale with the #1 seed on the line. And he lost the playoff game. Y'all coming to me in week 10. What's wrong with y'all? He got 8 weeks to go. I mean, I want to see him do it then. What I'm saying to you is that I'm looking for him. You understand, with a division crown on the line. I'm looking for him with a playoff game on the line. That's when I will sit up there. When he does it in those moments, I'll let it go. By the way, strange thing, because Mina, you brought up something statistically. When tied or trailing, the brothers got like 11 touchdowns, just 1 interception, balling out with a 137 passer rating. When leading, he's worse. 67% completion, 6 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions, 99 passer rating, taking 5 sacks. I don't know what that's about. I'll leave that to y'all. What I'm trying to say to you is this. What you gonna do when it counts? Now, this game is important. This game is important, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna tell you why it's important. Nobody should want to go to Seattle to play a playoff game.
Hell no.
You don't want to go in those confines and play a game on the road in Seattle. Nobody should want that, okay? And Seattle, obviously, they've shown they can take their show on the road and do their thing. But when it comes to Sam Darnold specifically, we all know that there are moments. And moments is what determines your cachet. What do you do when it's time? And it ain't time yet, but it will be. It will be.
Bro,
we shall see.
Ridiculous, big bro.
I'm just being fair. I'm just being fair. Somebody got to be fair.
I think. I'll turn it serious here. Like, I do think it's fair to say
I was serious.
Probably his own self-confidence. You know, like there's the reality that it fell short at the end of last season. And so I think for that quarterback, I'm sure that he wants to go out and have that performance so he feels that it's washed of the past. And also, like, Stephen A's joking around a little bit with it. I know he's being, like, there's also the teammate thing. Like, the teammates know how it ended last year. And so I'm sure that there's people within their locker room that want to see Sam go ball out and light it up. And we as a team have a quarterback that can go head to head. So I do think that's a fair thing to say. I thought the way that Stephen A talked about it last year was unfair, but I do think that there's just that
It was not unfair.
Self-belief.
But it's not about but that's not about last year, in my opinion. It's about his entire career. It's about that needing to prove at every step you are continuing to get better as a player, but also as the leader of team and a team that can count on you in the most important
it's another
moments.
this is obstacle.
This is his first opportunity in Seattle to do that.
Yes, coming off a season high, 3 turnovers.
Where was he drafted? What was it?
Third overall in the Jets.
Overall pick. Okay, this brother ain't no 6th rounder. The number 3 overall pick. We've been waiting. Last year was the closest we got to that. Okay? And we were raving about him for the first 16 games. Wow, damn, we see this is miraculous. I mean, way to go, Sam. Damn right. And you ain't deserve his money. He played on a 1-year, $10 million contract. And he ultimately got some money. But we were looking at him, yeah, let's go. And then Detroit came.
Way to go.
And then LA came.
But to be fair, the Jets, I mean, what do you call the Jets? The definition of the Jets is football.
No, I'm talking about last year with Minnesota, Shae. Last year with Minnesota. I'm saying that was the moment.
On one
You're
game.
ridiculous.
One game, though, we're talking about. Okay, look, RC, floor is yours.
Yeah, so we were talking in the commercial about how handsome Dan believes he is now, and I told him it's all because his suit game has changed. I want to show y'all what Dan looked like when he first started doing TV, and it was not the same Dan that we see now. That's how Dan used to dress. That is Dan in his suit he still had from when he was playing quarterback for the Detroit Lions. Dio, do you think you look perfect here?
In that initial clip, I think I look good. Yeah.
Dan, there's no way you believe that that's attractive.
Yeah, man. I agree.
still have
I
the
don't
tie.
know. I think the beard is too thick then, but gosh, that's almost 10 years ago.
That is almost
I always say to my wife, I have no idea how she married me.
Okay.
Well,